Hey everyone, I'm Susie McCrae from Amherst, Massachusetts in the United States, and I'm a proud global founder of a company called OnPassive. Today is our Let's Bless Our Loved Ones guest webinar, where you have been invited to hear about a business called OnPassive. Today, we will have a presentation, and then afterwards, I will give you instructions to our guests about how we are going to do the Q&A. Be mindful, today is about our guests, and we love having our guests and founders here. But sit back, guests. This is about you to learn about this business. And then any questions you have, you can see we have a panel here today that is going to help answer your questions so that you can move forward and become a founding member like the rest of us with OnPassive. So I'd like to introduce Charles Osan. Charles has a wealth of experience in IT, information technology, well over 30 years. He understands online businesses. He also understands OnPassive because he has been a founder for about 3 years with this company. And what you're going to hear today is his story, and you're going to want to listen to it and get back to the person who invited you so that you can jump on board as well. He has a lot of wisdom, and just sit back and enjoy, and I'll be back for the Q&A afterwards. So Charles, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Susie. That was, I'm going to pay you later on, like Maddie always says. I'll compensate you for that intro. Thanks to all the panelists, great minds, great panelists. Welcome founders and guests especially. I see that we are over 500 and climbing rapidly too. That's great. So today you're going to be hearing my story. I will be telling you about this once in a lifetime kind of opportunity. And the way I do that is I tell you my story. Mark Twain once said, as long as you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. And that's what I'm going to be doing, telling you the truth, okay? So I've been in the US for over 36 years. And during that time, I've worked like everybody else, sometimes 2 jobs just to make ends meet. For the most part, I've worked in the IT field. And as most of you know, that is a very broad field. But I've been blessed enough to work in almost every discipline. So I consider myself a generalized specialist. Now, even though I had a relatively good job, it was just a job, right? J-O-B, just over broke. By the time I pay my bills, I am left wanting, and I have a big family in the United States as well as outside. And I would always wish I can help, right? So I've always looked for ways of making extra money. Long time ago, I ran into the works of Mr. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest gentlemen on earth. And he said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Now that has resonated with me. And every time I go to bed, I'm asking myself, am I making money as I'm sleeping? And if I'm not, I just don't sleep very well. So just over 4.5 years ago, getting closer to 5 years now, I tendered my resignation for corporate America. Not because I had money, because I remember a colleague of mine looked at me and said to me, Charles, you must be very lucky. You must have saved up a lot of money to be retiring this early. And I said to him, on the contrary, I have been working for so long and I can't seem to save up the kind of money that I would like. So there's got to be a better way. And I recall Robert Einstein, reading from Robert Einstein. And he said, if you keep doing the same things over and over, and you expect different results, that is his definition of insanity. And I agreed with him. And that is why I retired. That is why I resigned, not retired, sorry. And then I got myself an office space in Greenbelt in Maryland, in the US. And close to 3 years ago, a trusted friend of mine walked into my office and said to me, Charles, You're going to have to take a look at this. It's going to blow your mind away. It's an opportunity. And just so you know, prior to retiring, I had been studying rigorously the behavioral patterns of successful people. And one of them is this. You bring them an opportunity. Yes, they take a look at it inside out so that they can make an informed decision. So I pretended to be one of them that day. And I told my friend, I am certainly going to take a look at this opportunity, but I have some prerequisites. I have 3 questions for you. It's like it's going to save you time or my time, right? Question number 1, with this opportunity that you are bringing to me today, if I do not recruit, if I cannot sell to even one person, in other words, I seal my lips, am I going to make money? And when I say money, I mean real money, not chop change. Enough money to give me financial freedom. As you may recall, I was retired from work, so I had a lot of time. I had time freedom, but I still needed financial freedom so that together I can get total freedom, right? Time freedom plus financial freedom gives me total freedom. So I asked my friend, if I cannot recruit or sell, because I am a regular human being, and most of us, 98% of us, some say 97, I say 98, do not know how to recruit. And I'm one of those. So I asked him, if I don't recruit, am I going to be able to make that kind of money? And he said to me, Charles, you don't have to worry. You will make enough money to leave a legacy for your children, your children's children, and beyond. That sounded like music to my ears. And I said to him, let's go to question number 2. Excuse me. With this opportunity, am I going to have to come out of pocket every month in, month out, to pay some bill? In the industry, they call it ownership. Am I going to have to pay a monthly ownership? He said to me, Charles, when this company launches, you're going to have to come out of pocket once, and that's it. So in other words, this company was still in pre-launch. And I like that. And I said, okay, let's go to the 3rd and final question. The last, but certainly not the least. Does this company have legitimate, viable products? By legitimate, I mean legal. By viable, I mean necessary. Something that mankind needs, you and I, we need every day. I know a lot of us do all kinds of stuff. We sell juice, we sell vitamins. Guess what? Those are legal, but they are not viable. Think about your cell phone. If you don't have a cell phone in this day and age, life is miserable, believe me. Think about internet access, Wi-Fi. Everywhere you go these days, the first thing you want to know, what is the Wi-Fi password if it is not free, if it is not public? If you don't have that, life is miserable. That's what I mean by viability. So I asked my friend that day, and by the way, if a company doesn't have viable products, that company is a time bomb. It's just a matter of time before it falls, believe me. So I asked my friend that day, does this company have legitimate, viable products? And he said to me, Charles, you have an extensive IT background. You should understand these products better than me. And I said, okay. So I went and took a look at the products, and I came back to him and I said, my friend, should this company succeed in what they're trying to do, we are going to have an internet quake. We are going to have a shake-up of the internet. But I also said to him, it's going to take some time, maybe 5 years, maybe more. He didn't like that. Why? Because it's like most of us, we are human. We like instant gratification. We want money now, today. And so he asked me, Charles, why would you say that? And he was a little agitated. I said, listen, You told me to take a look at it. I did. And I understand what they're doing. They're using artificial intelligence, AI for short. AI, my friends, is a disruptive technology. And what do I mean by that? One that comes every once in a while, and it'll change the way we do things. We have no choice, like the internet. In other words, it disrupts our lives. AI is yet the most disruptive technology mankind has ever known. But AI is very involved. It involves machine learning. It involves empirical data. It involves millions upon millions of lines of coding. For those of you who are familiar with software development, you will agree with me. This is time consuming. And that's why I told my friend, we're going to have to buckle up, fasten our seatbelts, and enjoy this roller coaster. But I also told him, I don't care how long it takes. I want to be part of this opportunity right now. I have something called FOMO, fear of missing out. Excuse me. I had missed out on a few opportunities earlier on in my life. And I wasn't going to miss out on this one, not for any length of time and not at any cost. So I asked him, how much is it going to cost me to be part of this company right now? And I was thinking he's going to give me some bogus amount of money, like $20,000 or even more. But I was ready. I had my credit cards with me. Thankfully, in the United States, we do not need cash. All we need are some plastics. And I had a few of those at the time. But he looked up at me and he said to me, Charles, believe it or not, all you're gonna need is $97. 97. I could not believe it. I said to him, you've got to be kidding. You couldn't possibly drive all the way from wherever you came from to my office to be messing with me, right? He said, no, I'm serious. I said, okay, well, here's my card, put it on there. By the time we were done, it had costed me $102. So yes, there is a $5 fee that the banks will charge you when you use credit and or debit card. Big deal. I told him, consider that dinner for two. But I also told him, I do not have 5 years or more to be monitoring this business. So I need you to do me a favor. You call me, you text me, you email me, you do whatever it takes to get me informed so I can get more involved when they are closer to launch. And he said, deal. 8 months later, he gave me a call. Charles, the CEO of this company wants to talk to all of us in 1 week's time. Can you make yourself available? And I said, why not? Sure, I will be there. 1 week later, I hop on the webinar and there was Mr. Ash Mofara. Mr. Ash Mofara is the CEO and founder of this company. Mr. Ash Mofara, for those of us who have been founders for some time, we have come to know and love him dearly. Not only because he's going to help us make money, and I can assure you, he will help us make tons of money, but also, and more importantly, because of his heart for humanity. My friends, I can tell you, we have quite a few geniuses out there. We have Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, just to name a few. These guys, all of them have the brains. They do. But do they have the heart? And as you come to join our company, you're going to find out. Not only does our CEO have the brains, but also he has the heart for humanity. And that is why most of us leaders resonate with him so well. But mind you, I was listening to Mr. Mofara for the very first time. And I hopped on the webinar and he said, folks, we have been making a lot of progress. In fact, we are closer to launch than ever before. Now, I must admit, that statement threw me off. It was just 8 months earlier, I had told my friend, we're going to be waiting for the long haul. And all of a sudden, here's this dude telling us we are closer to launch than ever. And I'm saying to myself, whom is he kidding? I know exactly what they're doing. This can't be that fast. But guess what it did to me? It made me very attentive. And I was listening keenly. And he said, we have gone to Bangalore in India. Now, if you look behind me, you're going to see a building that says OnPassive. This building is in high-tech city. It is in Hyderabad in India. This building was leased by OnPassive for 9 years just in December of 2020. At that time, this building was non-existent. Mr. Mofara had gone to Bangalore and he had leased 2 floors in a high-rise building. And he went on and he said, we have hired 200 engineers, the best of the best. And these engineers are working day and night to make sure our dream is realized. So now in my head, I'm thinking, okay, most startup companies are going to have 20 to 25 engineers. Most startup companies are going to have these engineers work 8, maybe 9, maybe 10 hours a day. I know, because I have been part of a few of those. But Mr. Mofara goes to the source. And when I say source, for those of you who are familiar with IT, you would agree with me that Indians are the best in the game. He goes to the source and he did not get 20 or 25 engineers. No, he got 200 of them. And guess what? They were not working 8 or 9 or 10 hours a day. They were working around the clock. They were working 24/7, taking turns to make sure this baby is born. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, with this kind of a resource, yes, you are able to cut time frames. With this kind of a resource, yes, you are able to do in 2 or 3 years what is scheduled to take 5 or 6 years. So my belief factor goes up and I'm listening keenly. And he went on and he said, some of us, founding members, you and I, we have been unethical. So we're going to come up with a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA for short. And later on, I'm going to let my friend, Mr. Redfern, he's going to talk a little bit more about those NDAs. But I was listening. He said, for you to participate in this company, you're going to have to sign that document. 2 months later, he called up another meeting. And he said, folks, the NDAs are out. Go sign them up. I went back, took a look at that document, very long document. And I can assure you, I am not an attorney, not by any stretch of the imagination. But by the time I was done reading that document, it occurred to me that this is serious business. I look back at the time, money, energy spent from the time I joined up until then. And I said, oh, wow, this has got to be serious. Okay. I said to myself, a revolution, that internet quake is about to happen. The train is about to start rolling, and I need to be part of this change. I need to be part of this revolution. And I called my friends, close friends to my office, and I said, folks, we are going to have to spread the word. This company is about to do something that has never been done in the history of mankind. And we are going to have to be part of it. And I told them, folks, let's look for the best way to spread this word. And guess what? Zoom was the option. Thanks to technology with Zoom, all you need is a smart device. It can be a smartphone, an iPad, a laptop, doesn't matter. You need internet access, data, as you guys call it back in Africa, and you are on. So what is this company I'm talking to you about? OnPassive. It's right behind me. And the name was given on purpose. It's not by chance. Why? Because it is a passive opportunity. That means what? That means when this company launches, you're going to come up with a small subscription fee. And Redfern, again, is going to talk about that fee later on today. Once you do that, guess what? The engineers, the staff of OnPassive are going to go to work on your behalf. And you're just going to sit passively, fold your arms, and money in your bank account, day in, day out. Our CEO and founder, Mr. Mofara, graduated with a master's in e-commerce, went back to Harvard, studied online businesses. This guy has a knack for artificial intelligence, AI, that disruptive technology I just mentioned to you guys a few moments ago. This guy is a guru when it comes to traffic generation. What is traffic? Traffic, my friends, is the reason you and I can dream today. Traffic is so important. We're going to spend a couple of minutes talking about it. So what is this traffic? It is the most fundamental element in any business. It doesn't matter whether this business is offline or online. But because most of us have an age, we are more used to offline businesses, we are going to start there. Let's say you have a business offline, and it can be any business. It can be a car dealership, a barber shop, a hair salon, doesn't matter. Let's assume it is a restaurant. And I just use that because I love food. And I know all of us have to eat at some point in time. So you have a restaurant and have the same exact restaurant, same kind of food, same name, same chef. The food tastes exactly identical. But the only difference is what? Location. Your restaurant is located in a busy area, in a shopping mall. People come in and out all the time. My restaurant is located in a back alley. It is hidden. Well, guess what? Your restaurant is going to fare better than mine. And here is why. People are going to come to that shopping mall, minding their own business, to do their hair, their nail, buy some clothes, maybe window shopping. Whatever it is that brings them to the shopping mall, eventually they will get hungry. They're going to look up at your restaurant, wander into your restaurant. And the end result of that is what? Sales. My restaurant, on the other hand, they are going to have to know that it is there. They're going to have to leave their homes deliberately to go there. Because of that, it suffers. It suffers from what? Traffic. So what then is traffic? The people, the customers coming in and out of your business. It is that simple. What about traffic online? But before I go to that traffic online, I want to say this. In this day and age, if you have an offline business like the restaurant I just mentioned, you better get yourself an online presence. Otherwise, you will be smoked by your competition. Trust me. The reverse is not true. We have businesses such as Amazon online. They don't have an offline presence yet. Amazon is the richest company in the world today. So what am I saying in essence? It is true that we have lots of companies offline, millions upon millions of them. But it is also true that we have more companies online than we do offline, billions of them. And these companies online, they thrive on traffic too. So what is traffic online? Simple, my friends, clicks. You have a business online, the first thing that needs to happen for you to make a sale, people need to come and click. No clicks, no sales. The more the clicks, the more the sales. So we have individuals online, businesses online. How do they make money? By driving traffic, sending customers to all those billions of companies online, and they are making a killing. Typical example, Google. And then we have something called targeted traffic. What is targeted traffic? Say you go online and you're looking for TV, and somebody walks around you and say, hey, why don't you go to charlesosan.com? And the moment you click on it, or you see our TVs, all kinds of TVs, all colors, all prices. Guess what your chances of buying are? Very high. So that store just got itself a targeted traffic, some customer looking for exactly what they have to offer. That, my friends, is huge. And our CEO and founder, Mr. Ash Mofara, that I just mentioned to you a few moments ago, is the best in the game of driving targeted traffic. He proved himself. When he graduated, he got involved with a few companies. Yes, he drove traffic, customers, affiliates to those companies. He made millions of dollars doing that, that's for sure. And these companies made a killing too. But most of them went out of business. Why? I told you guys earlier, no legitimate viable product. Any company is a time bomb. So Mr. Mofara and his family, notably his wife, who was also in IT, they are gonna sit together and say, listen, we need to stop doing this. We need to stop sending people, customers, to businesses that will eventually go out. We are gonna start our own. We are gonna get some legitimate, viable digital services. We're gonna get founding members, you and I. We're gonna drive traffic to them because we're the best in the game. They will make money. We are gonna make money. Everybody is happy. And now, that is the birth of OnPassive. So over 3 years ago, and mark you, my friends, this 3 years ago, there was no pandemic. There was no COVID-19. These guys were just visionaries. Over 3 years ago, Mr. Mofara and his close friends are gonna sit and they're gonna say, we are starting our own business, okay? We're gonna have these services. Now, we have about close to 8 billion people on earth, right? And at any point in time, statistics show that 7 million of those people are online doing something. And now that was 3 years ago or more than 3 years ago. You can imagine what that number is today with the COVID-19, with coronavirus, way more. But 7 million per minute at the time was still a lot. What kind of services are these people looking for? What do they need so that we can provide them? Some of us online, we are doing online banking. I do that sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times a day. And I know a bunch of you do that too. And when we do these things, there are people online making money, monetizing on our services. And these guys are going to say, we have AI at the back of our hands. We are gonna do that too, even better. Some of us online, we are on our favorite social media platform. Could be LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I love Facebook. But when we are on Facebook, what are we doing? What services are we using? It is called community. We are sending texts, photos to friends, family members, colleagues, classmates. Well, these guys are saying we can have our own community. If you're just joining us today, as a matter of fact, we just hit 1 million founders and it increasing by the minute. That community is getting bigger and bigger by the minute. So these guys are saying we are going to have our own community, better, bigger and better. Some of us online, we are doing e-commerce, okay? Drop shipping, email marketing, bulk emailing. If you don't know, there are people online making 6 and 7-figure income just doing email marketing. I know that. I thought about it once upon a time. And these guys are gonna say, we can do that too, even better with AI. Email marketing, autoresponder, everything you need about that. We are gonna do it better. Some of us online, we are video conferencing, just like you and I right now. If you can see me, or you can hear me, or both, it means you went to something called Zoom, you put in some ID, and there you are. Believe it or not, Eric Wan, the owner of Zoom, and all the founders, they are monetizing on our services as we speak. And Zoom is not the only one. We have Skype, we have AnyMeeting, we have Cisco WebEx, Google Hangouts, Microsoft Teams. We have a plethora of more than 25 of them making serious money, especially since the advent of the pandemic. But like I said, Zoom is not the only one, but Zoom is the most popular. Why? Because it is the most user-friendly, but not for long. You guys wait until you see our O Connect. Those of us who have been founders for some time, we have been lucky enough to see a sneak peek of it. It is clearer, 3D. It is faster, end-to-end encrypted, more secure, more scalable, and above all, guess what? More affordable. My friend Mike Ellis always says at a lower price point. Yes. But let's focus on Zoom for now, because OnPassive is not yet launched to the public. Very, very soon, in a matter of weeks or months, we are going to be there. But for now, let's focus on Zoom. Prior to COVID-19, Zoom was averaging 10 million participants a day. April 2020, the same company took a statistic. That number had risen to over 300 million participants. November 30th, 2020, Forbes magazine came out with a report. Zoom had made more profits than ExxonMobil, the decades-old American oil company. My friends, you guys know why? Simple. The world is going virtual. Ever since the pandemic, every university, high school, middle school, elementary school, asking students to take classes virtually. So those of us parents who are digital immigrants who have to be jumping up and down, we don't know how to use Zoom, we got to figure it out for our kids. No choice. Okay? Now, let's talk about another service. VPN, Virtual Private Network. What is that? Okay, it's just a fancy name. It is a fancy name for a tunnel. It is a tunnel that cuts across a major network such as the internet so that people can be protected. It provides privacy. Employers use it so that their employees can access corporate data without fear of bad guys, without fear of hackers. Ever since the pandemic, more and more companies asking employees to work from home. Facebook, Microsoft, even the federal government. Somebody is monetizing. So these guys at OnPassive, they are going to say, hey, we have AI at the back of our hands. We are going to have our own VPN, end-to-end encrypted, more secure, more scalable, and above all, guess what? At a lower price point, more affordable. When OnPassive launches, I can assure you guys, the big players in the VPN space, like Cisco Networks, they will know there is a new sheriff in town. Yes, they will know. Now let's talk about search engine optimization, SEO. Sounds like a mouthful. That's another service, big, big service. We know of search engines. We know of Yahoo. We know of Bing. And for those of us Apple enthusiasts, we know of Safari. And I'm pretty sure, I am very, very sure, everybody knows of Google. It has become so popular. It is a verb these days. These guys are all free. You go to Google 10 times a day, 100 times a day, free of charge. They don't charge you. And you go to Facebook, they don't charge you. You go to YouTube, they don't charge you. All these techie companies, they don't charge you. Yet they are multi-billion-dollar companies. And why is that? My friends, let's take Google, for example. One of the ways it makes money is through SEO. You go to Google, you search for something, guess what? They're going to bring it to the top. Okay? So that you can see it. Eyeballs. The moment they see it, as an individual, as a business person who owns that ad, you are being charged. And I can tell you that for a fact because I do use Google to market my cameras. And you go there and you search for one of them, Google bills me at the end of the month. They bring it to the top, and that's why they call it search engine optimization. They optimize the search, bring it to the top, and the moment people see it, you are being charged. They call it pay-per-click, okay? Now, We have another service online, DNS, domain name service. Every business online has to have a domain name. Companies such as GoDaddy are monetizing on this. So if you hear something, xxx.com, xxx.net, these are domain names and somebody has to host them. These guys making millions, billions of dollars. OnPassive with AI at the back of their hands, gonna help us with SEO, search engine optimization, gonna do DNS, domain name service for us, my friends. And when we get there, these companies that are big players in the space, guess what? They are going to know there is a new sheriff in town. Believe me. What am I doing, my friends? I'm giving you the services that OnPassive is putting together, the ones that we are used to, the ones that we use every day. But there are more. We have educational services, Academy. We have accounting services, accounting. Anything that OnPassive, yes, what OnPassive says. As a single person, an individual, as a business person, if you need it online, we have it together in one place for you. As long as you think about it, you need it, we have it for you under one umbrella. And here's a big word for you today: single sign-on. Okay? Single sign-on, one place. You need it, you have it. Now, my friends, this is value. Let me say this. I told you in the beginning, you do not have to recruit or sell to anybody to make money. Okay? You do not have to come out of pocket every month to pay some bill. And above all, we have the most legitimate, viable services in this day and age. And if you find any company that has better, trust me, all of us in this panel, we will be your first customer. All of us. We're not going to hesitate. You bring it to our attention. Now, you have all of this, we call this value, in one place. What is it going to take for you to become a founder with us today? The clock is ticking seriously, because that's about to close. And I'm going to let Mr. Redfern, our partner, who has been with OnPassive almost since the inception of this company. He understands it inside out. Believe me when I say this, okay? And he's going to give you what it's going to take for you to be part of us today. Go ahead, Red.
Thanks very much, Charles, and welcome to all my guests. If you are not blown away by this presentation of what is on offer for you guys to become a founder, then really there's no other opportunity I know online that comes close to what we are offering here to you. So what is it going to take then to be a founder in OnPassive? Well, for a start, I need to bring to your attention what it's going to cost you. Now, Charles has already mentioned to you that the founders opportunity, which is what this is all about here, to become a founder is going to cost you $97 US. If you use a credit or debit card, there is a $5 fee from the banks. So that's going to make it $102. The second payment that you will have to make is to activate your account. This is when we go to the global launch and we finally launch as a company to the general public. And we know that the price is going to be somewhere in the region of $200 to $300 US. So if you have in the back of your mind, the maximum it's going to cost you is $400 US. Then if it's any less than that, it's an absolute bonus. The reason we haven't got an exact amount yet for the second payment is because our CEO and founder, Ash Mufareh, wants to keep it as cheap as possible, but he has bills to pay. So he needs to make sure that there's enough in the pot for not only him, but also for us as the founders. Now, this window of opportunity that Charles has been saying is going to be closing very, very shortly. If you do join as a founder, you will see that the sign-in page and the back office is very glitchy at the moment. And this is because we are in the process of moving all this data from one website to another in preparation for our global launch. It is coming round the corner extremely, very, very fast, like an absolute freight train whizzing round the corner. And if you want to be part of it, you have to buy that ticket. I would not be surprised that in the next 2 weeks, the door of window to become a founder is going to close. So it really is imperative that if you are looking at this founders opportunity, that you do get in now. As Richard Branson once said, you do not, if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity, you do not have to understand everything about it, but what you do have to do is to get in. And that's very, very true with OnPassive. Once that door closes, that's it. There is no more founders, and it will only be a customer or a reseller. So like I said, you have to pay twice out of pocket. After that, everything else will come out of the commissions that the company will be generating for you on your behalf. So it really is a passive income. You can sit back, you can relax, and the company will be doing everything else for you. So how do you join? Quite easily, you get back in contact with the person who has invited you here today, the person who's given you this link for this presentation today. You say, hey, I'm really, really interested. Can you give me a registration link? They will give you that registration link. You put in your name, that's your first name and last name, and you give an email address. Once you have done that, you click send, and then you log back in once again with the credentials that the company will then send to you to the email that you have provided. You log back in and up will pop a payment window. You pay by whatever means you want. Obviously, we recommend the Visa and debit card preferably, because that is instant. You can also pay by cryptocurrency and other means depending on your country. Once you have paid and that account has been activated, you then log back in once again, okay? And up will pop that thing that Charles was talking about, the NDA. This is a non-disclosure agreement. This has been put in place for 2 reasons. One, to protect us, the founders within the business, but more importantly, to show us, the founders, how serious OnPassive is about its business. Now, as Charles also said, it is a long document. Okay, it is around about 5 pages long. A lot of big words. Even for me, I'm just a chef, and there was a lot of big words in there, I can assure you. You can anytime, guys, print this off, take it to a legal person for them to have a look at. Okay, but if you are happy with it, you can scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's 2 boxes you have to tick. Once you have ticked those 2 boxes, there's also a box that you have to sign to say you accept the terms and conditions of this NDA. You can either do it digitally, so that means if you have a smart device, you can use your finger or a smart device pen, or if you haven't got one of those, you can digitally sign it as well using a desktop. Once you've sent that off, okay, that's you done. You have full access to the back office. This is your founders only back office, where there is tons of information there to help you on your way to understand more about OnPassive. But obviously, always go back to your sponsor who will help you on your way. Now, I want to leave you with 2 things, okay, just to help you, to give you something to think about whilst you are mulling over whether to become a founder or not. Now, Charles mentioned the richest company in the world, Amazon. They are by far the richest company in the world, and they also have the richest founder and CEO in the world, Jeff Bezos. Now, you've probably seen him having this tit for tat up in the skies with Richard Branson and Elon Musk. Who's going to go up there first? Mine's bigger than yours, and all this sort of stuff. Billionaires tit for tat. He came down from space. When he got out of his space ship, Jeff Bezos very arrogantly said, I would like to thank my customers and my employees for giving me the money to be able to do this for. Now, we have a CEO and founder, Ash Mufareh, okay, who actually wants to give the majority of the money back to the foundership. But did you also know that Amazon, over its inception over the last 20 plus years, has produced over 40,000 millionaires? We have a CEO with a heart for humanity who wants to give the majority of the profits back to us, the foundership. And I would not be surprised in the future that we do not produce 1 million millionaires in the years to come. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is this. Your decision today will have an impact on your lives, your family and friends around you in 2 years' time. So make that decision, that $97 decision to become a founder and join us on this amazing journey in the next mega technology giant in the internet space called OnPassive. We really do hope that you join us on this journey, get back in contact with the person who has given you this link for this webinar here. And remember, guys, if you do sign up, please be mindful that it is a bit glitchy at the moment because of all the data that we turn up, but this is a really, really good thing. This means we are rapidly going forward to the main launch, which will be happening very, very shortly. Back over to you, Charles.
Thank you so very much, right? Always very insightful. And I'm gonna let Susie take control as she always does so very well. And then we'll move forward with that. As a matter of fact, I think before Susie goes, I would like to give it to Mike Ellis, because I think his insight to me is almost, I mean, you can't do without it. This guy is great. He has some insight. He has his way of putting it, and let him go ahead and give us just some little addition to that. And then we're gonna go back to Susie. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks, Charles. And you and Red, like always, you guys do a great job. And Susie, obviously, we could not do this without you. You are the premier. You know, as I talk to the new people, you all that are coming in and exploring OnPassive right now, Charles has done a great job explaining what's coming. And really, you just need to keep some simple things in your mind. As you come into OnPassive, 100% automated. You pay once, you'll never have to pay again. 2 fees, you'll pay them once, you'll never have to pay them again. And then understand that OnPassive, it is a global company already. It has a value of well over $1 billion today. And as we look at OnPassive, they're never going to put any qualifications on you. What does that mean? What does it mean they're never going to put any qualifications on you? You don't have to sell, you don't have to share, you don't have to recruit. OnPassive will go to work for each and every one of us. So as we look at OnPassive, as Charles gives a description of AI and just how well it's going to work for all of us, keep in mind 100% automated. OnPassive is going to go to work for each and every one of us. It is not 100% passive. I want to tell everybody that up front. At the very minimum, you have to go into OnPassive and take your money out. I think all of us can do that and do it with sheer joy. So Charles, Red, Susie, you guys have done a great job. And as usual, if you've heard these individuals talk, it's a pretty easy decision. Come on in, pay the $97, continue to explore OnPassive. And as you do, you're going to find that it just gets better and better and better. I say that all the time, but it's true. And all of the individuals here, Dan, Red, Charles, Susie, they'll agree with me. It just keeps getting better. And Ash Mufara, he's just a wizard. Every time he comes on, we go, whoa, I didn't think he could even do that. But yeah, he's absolute genius in what he does. And he's here to help you and I build wealth online and get to that place where the financial part of life, just, we don't worry about it. So I'll turn it back over to you, Susie. Have at it.
Okay. Thank you, Mike, for your kind words. Thank you, Charles, for an outstanding presentation. Makes the hair on my arm stand up, Charles, listening to you. And Red, thank you for your explanation. We're going to get to Dan soon, too. Once I tell you how we're going to handle the Q&A. And like Mike Ellis said, being passive, when I joined, I was like, oh my goodness, I have never seen anything like this. And immediately I reached out to my family, my siblings, my close friends, and they know, love, and trust me because I've never been involved in any hijinks or anything like that. I just feel so blessed that I came upon OnPassive. And immediately when I explained briefly to them what was required, they're like, really? I said, yeah. I said, come on board. And they did. And they're so happy. We are all excited as a family. I have never felt more proud about being associated with such a great company full of integrity, clean, doing the right thing. And it's about all of us, not just the CEO. So I've opened up the chat, and if you want a copy of today's webinar, please email Marty at onpassivenation@gmail.com, and he will send you the link after he gets this recorded, okay? Also, if you want to check out the products, go to onpassive.com and you can see the products with FAQs, videos, you can see more about it. Now, if you are a guest today and you have a question, please raise your hand and I can bring you on to the panel where your screen will change and you'll have to accept being a panelist, and you can be live here asking a question to those of us on the panel. If you're shy and you don't want to come on, we understand, or if you're in a position where you can't, go down to the chat, and I believe I have it open to everyone. If you are a guest, ask a question. Now, keep in mind, we have founders here today, and we love having our founders here, but this is for our guests today because on Monday, we have our founders only. So I'm going to start bringing on a few people and checking out the chat. In the meantime, I'd like to welcome Dan Street. Dan Street has been a founder for almost 3 years. He's out in Colorado. He has some great insight and perspective on this business, and I'd love to have him share that with you. So go ahead, Dan.
Well, thanks, Susie and Charles. Unbelievable presentation, and pretty much everything has been said here today for the guests. But I just a few key takeaways of that incredible presentation that Charles made was, you know, he talks about Ash Mufareh. None of this would be possible without our owner and founder, Ash Mufareh. His honesty, his integrity, his availability. I mean, I've been in the medical business for, I'm retired out of the medical business for roughly a 30-year career. And I've known a lot of CEOs and none of them have been available. Very limited access to them. They put themselves on a little bit more of a pedestal. Well, Ash makes himself so available and he's so honest, and gosh, his vision coming to fruition right now is pretty surreal. And the other thing that Charles understands a lot better than the rest of us is the fact that this AI technology, he's been a tech guy for a number of years, and I'm sure Charles is even looking forward to seeing some of and learning some of this AI technology that we have access to, because we do have some unique products that have never been seen before. They're patented, they're built from scratch, and we will disrupt the existing technology that's out there. And I'm looking forward to seeing the degree that which we will be able to do that. And the last thing I'll leave you with, all the new people, is you really have to understand the key that Charles was talking about, and that is the targeted traffic. When you have a company being OnPassive that is going to drive targeted traffic to your site to build a business for you, and you will get commissions over and over again. I mean, how can you, it's just incredible. That's one of the most important parts of this business. And then the AI software following up with those visitors, answering their questions, closing the sale, and it's all through that automated process they're talking about. So my suggestion to all of you is go ahead and lock in your spot right now for $97 because it's a bargain. That's all I have for now, Susie.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, Dan. We did have a question in the chat about what if you don't have the money to join? Well, you will find a way to afford the amount. There'll be a way that you can come in as a founder, and then when we're ready for our global launch, you will find a way to come up with that, because this is a business. And like we've said before, it's not a charity, even though it's a charitable heart of our CEO, and for him to invite us as partners. So if there's a will, there's a way, and you'll figure that out. Okay, so we have a few people on the panel, and I know Red and the rest of the panelists will help me catch any questions I might miss in the chat as I'm multitasking. So we have Doran, D-O-R-O-N. If you could unmute yourself, Doran, D-O-R-O-N, you're on the panel. We can see you walking around. If you could unmute. Hi, are you a guest today or are you a founder?
Hi, it's a guest webinar.
Oh, well, welcome. How are you?
No, I'm not a guest. I'm a founder. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's okay.
It
Okay,
is a
you
guest
can,
webinar, yes.
yeah, this is a guest webinar. You can come back on Monday at 2 p.m. to ask your questions,
Okay.
okay? Thank you for joining
Okay.
us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and we have Ashok, A-S-H-O-K, Sani, Ashok. We've brought you on. If you could unmute yourself and ask your question if you are a guest. Remember everyone, this is our guest webinar. If you are a founder, you can come on Monday with our private founders only webinar and ask any question or discuss anything you would like. It looks like Ashok. If you could unmute yourself. If not, if anyone's looking at the questions, if anyone wants to grab any of those or see if there's anything that's a guest question, that would be great. Okay, so
Yeah,
people are
I
declining.
see somebody says OnPassive has been excuse me, has been launching for 3 years now. How do we know it's not gonna take 3 more years? And I just want to say this though. We are very close, and even if it does take 3 more years, it is still a bargain. Okay. When I did my presentation, I said, if you were here from the beginning, I thought it was going to take 5, 6 years or even more. Okay. Those people who joined Bitcoin 2009, 2010, believe me, I was privy to it because I was in the technology world. And of course, I did make some money, but I could have made a lot more. Okay. So if you joined Bitcoin 2010, today you'll be smiling every day to the bank. Okay. And it's well worth the wait. And I said I've been working for over 30 years. And when I retired, I did not even have $50,000 in my bank account. But I knew I had to step down to make the big move, right? So if you're going to wait 3 more years, 6 years total, and then all of a sudden, 1 year later, you're a millionaire, I think that's a big, big deal. Okay? So we don't care. We know we're almost there. And even if it takes 5 more years, it'll still be well worth the wait. That's all I can say.
I agree with you, Charles, because you know, our CEO in one of our private webinars, and I'm not about to disclose anything, so don't worry. He actually mentioned my name, and he said Susie's probably maybe had 1 or 2 opportunities that maybe she didn't act on in her lifetime that could be so incredible. And I've got to agree with him. I don't think in my lifetime or your lifetime, you will ever be invited to partner with a company like this ever. And just for the value you will receive for jumping on board for $97, and then when we launch somewhere between 200 or 300, and that's it, and the company goes to work for you, which is what I loved, is the fully automated business, because our CEO is very brilliant about this. Everybody every day has challenges in life. You can't be on task 24/7, but guess what? A business can be that is fueled by artificial intelligence and machine learning, set it and forget it, can be doing the work for you. Because what happens now if you have your own business and something comes up and you can't be there, or you're having a bad week, or there's an illness in the family, or your attention is distracted, the business sometimes fails if during that period of time. But he has created something that's fully automated. And the best part is we can be part of that. They're going to do the work for us. They're going to take care of the customers. I love that. I've done customer service support, technology support my whole career. And when I heard that part of this business, I was like, wow. And you should be blown away by that too. Is there a way to make money now until we launch? When we launch to the globe, that is when they will go to work for us and bring in customers under us, and we'll get a piece of the pie. Until that, we recommend you continue to do what you're doing, but the launch is imminent. So someone asked, what is the main difference between OnPassive and Google. So I don't know if you want to comment on that, anyone. If you haven't heard the whole presentation,
Yeah, so
it's in there. If you want to, Charles.
let me just say one sentence that summarizes everything, right? Google is a subset of OnPassive. So Google is like 1/50th what OnPassive is doing, okay? That means OnPassive encompasses everything that Google does, that Facebook does, that YouTube does, that Zoom does, all of them in one big umbrella. I hope that clears it.
Yes, very, very good. Also, when people talk about, 3 years ago, I know Red had a wonderful video audio he posted with our CEO Ash Mufareh back in, I think it was August of 2018. And I actually re-listened to that again today, Red. So thank you for putting that out on the channel. And that's public. When I listened to Ash, it was like, this is over 3 years ago. And his message, his vision, his plan has been consistent over those 3+ years. He is transparent. He shares the truth. And when you become a founder, you have access to the back office. You can go in and listen to our recorded private webinars. You'll have access to more information. But I got to say that he has integrity. He's consistent. So Brett, if you want to add something about that, I actually enjoyed listening to it all over again.
Yeah, the reason I put it up there for is exactly that reason. I actually asked somebody for it because it was something that I wanted to re-listen to again. So I managed to get 2 copies, and I listened to both of them, and it's really a surreal experience for me, because that's what got me into OnPassive, was listening to those 2 in August, and I joined subsequently in the September. And his vision that he had back then, don't forget, there was no back office, there was no Go Founders, there wasn't even a name of OnPassive back in those days. It was just this vision of what he wanted to try and achieve within the internet space. And I was absolutely blown away now, knowing what I do know because of the 3-year journey that I've been on in OnPassive with, that how true to his word he has been all the way back there. It's almost like he's used it as this blueprint to where he wants to track himself to be for right now. And I put it up on my YouTube channel because I think it's really important for the general foundership of OnPassive to listen to those, to show every single one of them how, exactly like Susie has said, how true to his word he is. He's not wavered at all. He's not come out and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean what I was saying back then." Everything he said back then is coming to fruition right now, and it has come to fruition on this journey of where we are, from putting the Go Founders back office together for the products and services of where we want to do, to producing a residual income that's completely automated and hands-free of what we have our hands on right now. He said all about this 3.5 years ago, and here we are now.
Exactly, Red. And I remember when I came on board in January 2020, I'm a happy learner. I dug in and started finding everything I could. And I remember listening to that. And that was like, after I listened to that, I was like, out to my family and friends, I'm like, this is something, you can't compare it to anything, nor should we, disrespect OnPassive by trying to compare it, because it's like nothing we will ever see. There is a question, what's the difference between Go Founders and O Founders? And I'll explain that briefly. Our original back office is gofounders.net. That was the name that was used. And we will be transitioning to a new back office, and all the products in OnPassive have an O for OnPassive and a dash. So when we transition to the new back office, we will be probably calling ourselves O Founders instead of Go Founders. Another question is, what are the categories of becoming a member or a founder? Well, right now, the way to join is founder only. Right now, you become a founder. If you want to wait until the global launch, which I highly do not recommend, you will come on board as a customer at that point, and then can also choose to be a reseller at that point. I'm not sure if anyone sees, here's one. I understand the 200 to 300 activation fee for founders. Do we have an idea how much the ordinary customer will pay for their products? Would it be price per product or basket of products? And my understanding is it'll be both, but Red, if you want to elaborate a little, that would be great.
Yeah, it's a good question, actually. When we hit the global launch, we then go into the second stage of what OnPassive is, and that is we are going to be a customer-based business. We're looking for foundership right now, but we will be a customer-based business. So customers will be able to individually buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many products and services of within the OnPassive ecosystem. But alongside this also, we will have a reseller as well. And resellers will be able to pay a fixed fee one time to be able to access all of those products and services. So it's a bit of both, to be absolutely honest. Customers can just pay to use one product, or they can become a reseller to use all of the products and services of OnPassive. What that price is hasn't been fixed yet. We haven't been given information about it. But one thing's for sure is we will know very closely to the global launch. And as Susie keeps saying, it's getting there, and we are very, very close.
Yes, thank you, Red, so much. And
Yeah, let
go ahead,
me,
Mike.
let me add one thing to what Red said, and Red's absolutely right, 100% right. But in OnPassive, there will always also be free products. So people will be able to come in and use some of the free products of OnPassive. And some of these products are products that they're paying for with other companies, and they'll be able to come into OnPassive, not only use the free products of OnPassive, but see just how extensive the product line of OnPassive is. And that's a really, really exciting time, because many, many people will be coming in for the free products, but they'll come in and buy products that they use every day that, again, are at a lower price point. So yeah, really, really exciting stuff.
Very good point, that, Mike. Very good point.
Yes, someone asked about what is causing the delay in the launch. There is no delay. There is no delay. We are in launch. We're in pre-launch, and we're getting ready to go into the next phase and then the official launch. So
let me comment on that too, Susie.
Sure.
Actually, you're right. There is no delay, and as a matter of fact, we are way ahead of the game. Let's put it that way. Okay, for the amount of products that we're bringing to the field, the number of products, I thought by now, I would not even be, when I first heard about this opportunity, I thought sincerely that it's going to take at least 5 years, at the very minimum. I don't care what they do, okay? But because we're using renewable technology, okay, that's number one. Number one, we have way more engineers than a normal startup company does. That's number one. Number two, we are using renewable technology that has accelerated the project. So we don't have a delay. I'm just super, super excited that at this point in time, we are talking about launch in just months. So there is no delay. I just wanted to make that clear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say one thing about that too, Susie, if I could.
Yeah, of course.
Charles is an expert on technology. He knows what he's talking about. And Ash, having done what he's done in this time frame, it's extraordinary. But I can tell you, I keep a pretty close watch on the global economy. And I can tell you, the launch of OnPassive is where they're at, and it's right where they need to be. It is perfect. And as OnPassive launches to the world, I believe there's going to be a lot of things happening. And remember, OnPassive is the correction to the corruption. And because of that, there are going to be holes in the internet that OnPassive can just fill, boom, seamlessly. So I think there's a lot of things going on right now. And the timing of OnPassive, of Ash Mufareh, it is perfect. If you're asking about the launch of OnPassive, you don't know what you're talking about and you don't know what's happening. We are in a perfect position today. Ash is in a perfect position, and OnPassive is right where they need to be right now. So that's it, Susie.
Yes, excellent, Michael. Thank you. We do have a question. Any referral bonuses and binary tree? And Red, would you like to respond to that, please?
Yeah, it's very obvious that this guest has come in late because he's asked a few more questions earlier on in the chat. Susie will put in the email and request a copy of this presentation that Charles Osan has done, and it will answer all of your questions that you're asking right now. Johnny.
Okay. Thank you very much. I don't know if I saw any other questions in here. I was doing a few multitasking. We don't have anybody else with their hand up. So I think I'll end like I end, and then Charles, if you want to end the whole thing. A lot of times people come on these webinars and they catch, well, most people catch the vision and jump on board. But the next thing they say is, how am I going to explain this to my friends and family? Because you've heard a lot today and you may not be able to express it to them with your excitement. That's why you should request a copy of today's webinar. And you can email Marty at onpassivenation@gmail.com. Now, we do these guest webinars every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And there's a way you can invite your loved ones, your friends, your family to join this so that we can explain the business to them. Also, once you jump on board as a founder on Monday, this coming Monday and every Monday, we have a private founders only roundtable at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll have access to that in the back office and you'll be able to join us. And at that point, you can have a discussion or ask questions and hear what's going on. I mean, that's a great place to get your questions answered as a founder. Also, we are in over 200 countries and there are public guest webinars across the globe in other languages. So if you're joining us from somewhere else or you know people in other countries that may not be English speaking, well, you go into the back office and you'll be able to find a webinar to invite them to. So if you, Charles, want to end the webinar, I'll just keep an eye out for any other questions.
Sure. Thank you, Susie. Thank you very much to all the panelists. Great minds here, great leaders. Together, we have over 100 years of experience online and offline. So we are just happy. We are 7 leaders. Okay, we're not getting paid, just so you know. We're just happy to bring you guys on board. Okay, because we all have one vision. We share the CEO's vision to make the world a better place, to reduce the gap between the rich and the poor. And believe it or not, guys, this train is about to take off at very, very high speed. Okay, we just hit 1 million founders today, and we have reached our target. We have actually surpassed our target, and our CEO has said at any point in time, we're going to stop it. Okay, so this week, this month, next month, things are going to moving at very, very high rate. If you are a guest here today, and the title of this webinar is Let's Bless Our Loved Ones. If you are a guest, that means this is a day you're never going to forget. You need to jump on board. And like Richard Branson said, Richard Branson, if you don't know him, he's the first billionaire to go to space. There are a bunch of them are doing that now, but he was the first. Okay, and he said, if someone offers you an amazing opportunity, but you don't understand it, say yes, and then learn about it later. Now, this is that amazing opportunity, but the window of it is very, very narrow at this point in time. So jump on board, and if you do jump on board today, tomorrow, before 2 p.m. Monday, you'll be eligible to join our Founders Only webinar. And when you get to that webinar, where we discuss proprietary information your mind is going to be blown away. I can assure you. I can assure you. You're going to join the rest of us who are getting sleepless nights.
Yeah.
Okay? You're going to join us, and you're going to remain grateful to that person that brought you here today. That's all I want to say. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great weekend, guys. If you're a founder, stay excited. Okay? This thing is about to explode. All right? That's all I can say.
Okay, thank you, everybody. And request a copy, email onpassivenation@gmail.com. I see some questions coming in from people who may have joined late. The answers will be there. If not, reach out to the person who invited you and they'll help get your questions answered. But in the essence of keeping to a time of an hour and a half here, we're going to end this webinar. So thanks for joining us. Get back to the person who invited you. You won't regret it.
See y'all later.
All right. See you all later.